Pendleton High School Flying Bulldogs request permission to use your drill area, sir.
Carry on.
I think we offer something very unique that no other class offers.
Hit it. Come on.
Colonel David Rearick runs the Air Force Junior ROTC at Pendleton High School.
When I have these kids 2, 3, 4 years, I get to watch them grow up. And a lot of teachers don't get to see that. Line up right here.
25 years served in the Air Force, and now his 6th and final year as the director of the Bulldogs program.
I took this job because I wanted to make a difference in people's lives.
And with a couple of months left, he's showing no signs of letting up.
Collar's dirty. Shoes are not very shined. Name tag's not centered. If I go light on them, then they're not learning personal accountability, personal responsibility. They're learning it's okay to cut corners.
Students learn leadership skills as well.
I want you to get the ball and put it on top of that post.
And his program is open to students with challenges.
It means to feel a pride in wearing this uniform.
I can feel it. It's going to happen.
Yes.
Good job.
For Colonel Rearick, it all boils down to this.
Character building, character building, character building.
Muscle it. Come on. Finish strong.
You know, as they graduate, they go, you know, Colonel, you were really hard on me. I mean, really hard on me. But I needed that because I had nobody else doing that. And if you hadn't pushed me, there was nobody else there to push me.
It's a big family, and it's gonna be hard having him leave because it's his last year.
I'll remember those moments when they come back and give me a hug and say thank you.
Sir, this completes our routine.
Colonel David Rearick, retiring to spend more time with family, while his impact on Pendleton High will live on.
And you can nominate a teacher you think deserves a Golden Apple Award.
It's easy. Just pick up an application at any Ingles grocery store.
Shining the light on a 7-year tax, why tanning salon owners hope the Affordable Care Act gets repealed.
Live local breaking news with Nigel Robertson, Gabrielle Komorowski, and weather with Chief Meteorologist John Cesarich. This is WYFF News 4 at 5.
As Republican lawmakers right now work to repeal the Affordable Care Act, one group is offering its full support in that: tanning salon owners.
WYFF News 4's Brennan McDavid has the story.
Since 2010, tanning salons like Solar Tan on Haywood Road have been paying a 10% tax. But that could all change if Obamacare gets repealed.
It's expensive, and I don't think it's fair at all.
Owner Kelly Miller says not even SBF 100 could have protected her from the damaging rays of Obamacare.
Well, it's 10% of all of the services that we offer.
The so-called tan tax is similar to the taxes imposed on tobacco companies. It's meant to discourage people from an activity that's known to increase the risk of cancer. But Miller says tanning is no more dangerous than fast food, alcohol, or cosmetic surgery.
Absolutely, we've been targeted, and I feel unjustly so.
And customers are feeling the burn.
Good afternoon, Solar Tan.
Miller says the price for one visit to the tanning bed increased from $35 to $38.50.
I do explain in detail to my clients why there is a tax, what the tax is, and they are, of course, paying it, but not happily.
The Associated Press reports almost 10,000 tanning salons in the U.S. have closed since Obamacare went into effect. That's about 55%.
We've had several local salons close. We've been here for 21 years, so we're very thankful to the community for keeping us going. But there are a lot of salons that did not make it, and the tan tax was a big part of that.
However, Miller says there is light on the horizon for the tanning industry. President Donald Trump's proposed replacement plan would do away with the tan tax.
Hopefully a lot of this, I feel, overstress on our on the tanning business would just be lifted a little bit.
Brennan McDavid, WYFF News 4 in Greenville.
All right, let's talk weather now. I'm joined in the studio with WYFF News 4 meteorologist Chris Justice. And Chris, it was amazing earlier in the week.
Yeah.
Cooling down, weekend?
Weekend's warmer. just with clouds. So there's a price to pay for everything here recently. It's a little bit of give and take. Let me show you what's going on outside. Temperatures right now running about 10 degrees cooler than they should be this time of the year. We're at 59 in Spartanburg, 56 in Hendersonville. It's 61 right now in Greenville. Live Super Doppler 4 HD dry for us, but as we head throughout the next couple of hours, we'll be watching for increasing clouds. Our flow coming out of the southeast right now, but as we head throughout the overnight hours, it'll shift to the south. That'll bring in warmer air, but it'll also bring in cloud cover. We'll notice mostly cloudy skies by tomorrow afternoon. A slight chance for showers on Saturday, about a 20 to 30% chance, but it's Saturday night into Sunday. We'll look for more substantial rain to move into the area. If you have plans to go to church on Sunday, know that it will be a bit rainy across the area between the hours of 10 and 12. And that's peak hours there. And if you're heading to lunch afterwards, bring the umbrella. Here's the noon shot across the area. It looks like heavy rain from Spartanburg to Lawrence to Greenwood. We'll time out this weekend rain and give you the totals coming up here in just a few minutes.
Chris, thank you. We'll see you later on. Confirmation hearings are underway for Agriculture Secretary nominee and former Georgia Governor Sonny Perdue. During the hearings, Perdue said that he would make government programs more efficient while also working to create jobs in that struggling industry. This comes as President Trump eyes a 21% cut to the farm budget. Perdue stressed that bipartisanship and reached out to Democrats who have complained about Trump's lack of experience in agriculture. Perdue is expected to be confirmed.
An author, filmmaker, and activist who uncovered new evidence about the 1955 torture of an African-American teenager shared his thoughts at Wofford College. Timothy B. Tyson's book is called The Blood of Emmett Till. Till was 14 years old when he was accused of whistling at a woman in Mississippi. Her relatives and friends then kidnapped the boy and tortured him to death. Tyson's book includes the only interview that woman who confessed to him in 2007 said that she lied about the assault. Today, Tyson spoke about race, politics, and activism.
I hope that people will see that the crisis of American democracy can only be addressed by us coming together, going beyond ideology, going beyond partisan politics, and talking about not left and right, but right and wrong, and about justice and mercy.
Tyson also took time to sign his book and talk one-on-one with people at Wofford College.
Happening this Saturday in Seneca, a ceremony is going to be held at the Wolf Stake Baptist Church Cemetery in honor of the country's only recipient of the county's only recipient of the Medal of Honor. U.S. Marine Staff Sergeant Louis G. Watkins gave his life to save his men during the Korean War, and he was posthumously given the Medal of Honor for that sacrifice. The ceremony will take place at Watkins Burial Site, 12:30 Saturday afternoon. March 25th is designated National Medal of Honor Day.
We are just one day away until the Gamecocks face off against Baylor for the program's first Sweet 16 game. WYFF News 4 Sports' Mark Dofer joins us in New York City with more as preparations are underway.
Times Square, New York City, often called the center of the world, and certainly it's a place that's always buzzing, but buzzing about basketball this week with the Sweet 16 coming to Madison Square Garden. Of course, you got South Carolina, Baylor, Florida, Wisconsin, all coming up on Friday. All four of those teams practiced today. They also had a press conference today, a final meeting with the media before tomorrow's games. It's an exciting time at Madison Square Garden. You've heard Sindarius Thornwell say it all week long. If you're a basketball player, if you're a basketball fan, MSG, simply put, is the place to be. South Carolina, a little bit of an underdog to Baylor, but let's face it, this is the Sweet 16. All these teams are good, and certainly any team could win on Friday night to advance to the East Regional Final. Of course, we've got much more coming up for you on air and online. Don't forget, you can always catch us on the WYFF News 4 mobile app. You can also catch us on Twitter and Facebook as we cover the NCAA tournament throughout. What a great day in New York City, but we're ready for game time tomorrow night. South Carolina Baylor, 7:30 at Madison Square Garden. Reporting from New York, Mark Dofer, WYFF News 4.
And tonight, be sure to watch our WYFF News 4 Sports Special, Road to the Title. It starts at 7 o'clock. Our sports team, Brad, Mark, and Ricardo, will preview the Gamecocks men's and women's basketball teams as they both compete for college basketball's ultimate prize. Later tonight, this fight that was caught on video has gone viral, but not because of anything violent, but how a stranger stepped in to stop it.
On Capitol Hill tonight, the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee is under fire for his handling of intelligence on the president and the transition team.
The revelation is fueling doubts about the panel's ability to independently investigate the president's possible ties to Russia. WYFF News 4 Sally Kidd has more.
Michael and Nigel, the House Intelligence Committee, met behind closed doors today and received an apology from their chairman. Democrats on the House Intelligence Committee say Chairman Devin Nunes can no longer be trusted to lead the panel's Russia probe. Wednesday, Nunes announced routine surveillance by the intelligence community inadvertently swept up information on President Trump's transition team. He won't say where he got the information.
I'm of the opinion that this was orchestrated either from the White House or by possibly someone associated with the White House.
Nunes first briefed the media on the information, then President Trump, leaving fellow committee members in the dark.
It certainly creates the appearance that the chairman, the Republican chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, is providing political cover to President Trump.
The chairman says it was a judgment call.
I thought he needed to understand what I saw and that he needed to try to get that information because he has every right to see it.
And he says the surveillance was legal and not related to allegations of Russian interference in the election.
The reality is that whether he briefed us first or he briefed the Democratic members, and that's up to him to decide, the substance of what he shared should be troubling to everybody.
Nunes, who served on the president's transition team, still maintains President Trump's wiretapping allegations against President Obama are false. In Washington, Sally Kidd, WYFF News 4.
Now, the White House also responded to accusations by Democrats that the White House planted information with Chairman Nunes in hopes of vindicating the president on his wiretapping claims.
White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer dismissed that, saying the president would not be briefed on information he already knew.
Coming up here, a mother in Virginia is furious after her son's school dropped the child off in the wrong place 3 times in the last few months.
And thrill seekers may find a new addition to Chicago's Willis Tower to help them unleash their inner Spider-Man.
And if you want to unleash your adventure tonight, you want to go outside, you need a jacket. 61 degrees in Greenville, 61 in Spartanburg, 57 in Asheville. Well, a bit on the cool side. Well, that forecast for you coming up.
We are getting word now, just in breaking news, just into our newsroom here. The attack in London yesterday just grew more deadly. London police say another person has died, a 75-year-old victim of the Westminster Bridge, part of the attack in London. Again, that word just coming into us here. Another